much underrepresented. And so that's one of the things. That is the Vigalti. Vigalti is to take us out of that mind process. And then there's Vilakachti. Vilakachti at the end means I'm bringing you close to me. I'm teaching you how to be kings and how to behave in a kingly fashion. And that's the Vilakachti. Now, the Meshech Chochmah, the Or Sameach, is from which city? Which city is Or Sameach? Where's he from? Dvinsk. Where's Dvinsk? It's north of Poland. You go north of Poland. It used to be, Lithuania used to be very big. It used to include Lithuania, Belarus, and Latvia, Estonia. Today, it's Lithuania is small. So today, there's a country called Latvia, and Dvinsk is in Latvia. The Or Sameach is actually buried in Riga. Riga is the capital of Latvia. It's another country over there in the north of Europe. And once upon a time in Dvinsk, there was a flood. The way they build in Lithuania, they have a lot of rain, and they have these ponds, these lakes, and in the middle they have these islands. So you have like a massive castle or fortress in the middle of a lake. It's very pretty. And so Dvinsk also has kind of a very large moat around it. In Italy also, if you remember, we went to Italy also. So so you have there's a lot of cities that have lakes, man-made lakes around them. And so Dvinsk is also like this. It has like big lakes around it. But the problem was it was raining once. And it rained a lot and it rained more. And it filled up and it went into the houses. And people had to get out of their houses and go up to the top of the hill. And more people went to the higher place on the hill. And eventually you had the rabbi, the Or Sameach, together with the priest, together with all the other people in Dvinsk, up on the hill. You heard the story?
Sounds like every other joke.
So they came to him, Dvinsk, and they said to him, Rabbi, please, you have to stop the water. We're all going to drown. And so he got up. He went up to the line of the water. And just before the line of the water, he had a walking stick and he made a line and he said, Ad kan, ad po, and the water didn't continue. It stopped over there. Just like Hashem said with the Mabul, right? We have a city called Akko. Why is it called Akko? Because when the Mabul was coming to Eretz Yisrael, Hashem said ad ko, and it stopped. He stopped the waters by Akko. There's actually a video I saw not too long ago where you have the Mabul, and you can see water everywhere. And just where Eretz Yisrael is, it's dry, it's lower down, and the water doesn't come to it. So the Mabul didn't happen over here. So you have Akko, and you also Yafo. It doesn't say in the Midrash that he said ad po, but it makes sense also that he said ad po. And so Vince put it down and he said ad ko. You're not going to continue. You shall not pass. Who said that?
Yeah.
On the 7th of October, the Hamas terrorists came to Netivot. You know that. Netivot is the biggest city in the whole area. And nobody was killed there by the Hamas, by the Hamas shooting. There was a family that was hit by a rocket. But there wasn't anybody that was actually killed by, Hamas operatives. But they were supposed to go there. What happened is they came in where the Baba Sadi's kever is. They came from that area. And 3 bearded men came out to them. The Baba Sadi, Rabbi Yoram Abargel, and Harav. The Abu Chatzera is the Baba Sadi. The third one, no, of Yisachar Meir. Of Yisachar Meir was the third one. He is the rabbi of. He was the rabbi of the yeshiva, the rabbi of Yeshivat HaNegev in Netivot. This is the way people tell the story. The Hamasnikim, they say there's one of the Hamasnikim.
Said they told
when they captured one of the Hamasnikim,
you go in.
they asked him when they were interrogating him, why you stopped, and he said, 3 bearded men that came out to me and stopped me, and so they explained. People in Netivot explained who these three bearded men are, if you go to the cemetery of Netivot, you see the Baba Sali is here, Rav Yoni Myers is here, and Rav Meir is over here. It's like three corners of the cemetery. They protect the cemetery. Now, I actually met Yoram Abargel when we lived in Ofakim. I wanted to go to his kollel, and I went and I waited in line. There's like 20 people waiting in line. A lot of Chiloni guys with like putzim, right, with like the hair standing up, and they had tattoos all over them. And they said they got a bracha from Yoram Abargel. And then it came my turn. And what's the first thing he does when you come to speak to him? He does this. What does this mean? Kiss my hand. So I had never done that, and I felt it was gross. But it's a big rabbi, so I took his hand and I kissed my own hand, and he didn't notice. I mean, people kiss their hand all day. He doesn't even notice anymore. And then I asked to get into his kollel, and he told me it was already a little too late. But he said, first get me a letter. It might be a little too late. And at the end, I didn't end up going because it was too late when I came to sign up. And then already finished off signing up for. So I kept on learning in my Lithuanian kollel in Ofakim.
What is Stafadnu?
Kimati Stafadnu, yeah. So what? This no, wasn't what? I would learn halacha over there. I wouldn't change who I am. What? I go in the mornings now to a Sephardi kollel. It doesn't change who I am. We went to Shabbati Dabrut, and it's all very, very Sephardi. And they also have the Sephardi chazan, and he's singing and he's doing the silsulim. And then one of the rabbis over there had a problem with his heart, and he had to rush him to the hospital. And they came to me. They said, "Can you please speak? Can you please speak instead of him?" Without even really knowing me too well, they came to me and they asked me to speak. I said, "Yeah, fine, I'll speak." And I spoke about ancient Ashkelon. And so, like you could be in a different place where there's a lot of Sephardim around you. It doesn't change who you are. You are who you are, right? You could be the people that go to public school, Jews that manage to stay Jews. It's part of having a strong identity, having a strong backbone. That's what it's part of. Now, let's move on a little bit in the Parsha. Now, last Parsha, we ended off with a very difficult tone. Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, take these three otot, do these three things to the Mitzrim, and they'll believe you. What you do is when you go to see Paro, number one, take your stick, turn it into a snake. Number two, put your hand in your jacket, take it out, it'll turn white like snow. And number three is turning the Yaor into dam, turning the river into dam. What?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I saw שכתוב שמתי הם ידעו שאצבע אלוקים היא, שהם ראו את מכת כינים, כי כישוף לא עובד על כינים, הם קטנות. אז למה הוא פשוט לא עשה את זה? הם היו ישר מאמינים לו.
Okay. The question is, why don't we start from the later Makos? The later Makos are much stronger and much more impressive. By Kinim, they already knew it was Etzba Elokimi. He could have actually started from Makos Bechoros, right?
It was attached to the green.
But we understand that there's an order over here. There's an order that the Makos happened. You start with the easy one and you go to the harder one. You want to give it gradually. Okay? So Moshe Rabbeinu comes. This is a story of Mashiach, right? We wait for Mashiach. When's Mashiach going to come? So this is a story of Mashiach. Mashiach came. He came in Mitzrayim. He was the Mashiach, but then he brought the Geula to the Mitzrayim. And what?
The Mitzrayim brought the Geula to Jews.
He brought the Geula to the Jews, right? He brought the Geula to the Jews in Mitzrayim. And so Moshe Rabbeinu comes, he speaks, he's getting ready, he speaks to the people of Israel. He says, I'm going to go speak to Paro. And Paro hears already that Moshe Rabbeinu is coming. Moshe Rabbeinu wants to come. He wants to get Am Yisrael out of Mitzrayim. So Paro says, obviously, they have too much free time on their hands. Let's make the work harder. If they're making bricks, mud bricks, and you need to put hay in between, let them find hay on their own. We're not going to give them the hay. So it makes it much harder for them. And so people started getting angry with Moshe. It became much harder. The work that they did became much harder once Moshe Rabbeinu came. And what's going on over here? Everybody knew that there was going to be a redeemer that's going to come. Mashiach. They're all davening for Mashiach. And they knew Mashiach's going to come with a special Shem Hashem. What Shem Hashem did Moshe Rabbeinu come with? There's 7 names that you write, you're not supposed to say. No. It's Ekye Asher Ekye. Right? Ekye Asher Ekye. You say Ekye Asher Ekye. You're not supposed to say the actual name. Now, why? Because there's 7 names you shouldn't say them. Elokim, Hashem Adnut, Adoshem, right? Tzvakot. It's one of the names. It says that it's one of the names of Hashem that you shouldn't say. And so they knew that when somebody comes with this name and he knows this name, the elders of Am Yisrael knew. They knew that once he comes with this name, that he's going to bring the Geula to Am Yisrael. But it just became harder. It became harder. It didn't become easier. It became harder. Do you understand what that is? It's just more difficult and more, and so it made people think, well, what is this with Mashiach? Is it supposed to be easier? It's supposed to be harder. It became harder. They couldn't even breathe properly. That's what it says. From difficulty of breathing already, because it's too difficult. So we're seeing what's called Chavlei Mashiach. This is the ropes of Mashiach. This is the difficulty of when Mashiach comes. And then it becomes even more difficult. What happens in Makat Choshech? 80% of Am Yisrael dies. Only 20% leaves Mitzrayim. It's even more difficult. So, as difficult as you thought, it's difficult for Am Yisrael as well. The Makkahs for the Mitzrayim were the worst. So, also, a lot of people are going to die. Yeah, some say also that 80% of Am Yisrael. That's a good question. It's a good question of how do we feel when we hear the word Mashiach? How do we feel? What does it mean to us? What does it say to us? It's going to be hard. Some of us might feel, oh, that's great. Mashiach's going to come. That's great. Or some might feel, I don't want him to come. And you need to be aware of what you're feeling. Don't force yourself to feel. Somebody might say, the greatest rabbis in the Gemara say, he should come and I shouldn't see him. Should come and I shouldn't see him. I don't want to see him because there's too much Chavlei Mashiach. It's going to be difficult. There's going to be Gog and Magog. There's going to be a lot of terrible things that are going to happen. That's what some people said. That's what some people might say. Now, there's another thing with Mashiach. Let me tell you something. In 1999, in 1999, I think it was 1999 or 98. I think it was 99. One of my rabbis, yeah, I did. One of my rabbis brought us together, and he sat us all down, and he said, I spoke to one of the Gedolim, and Mashiach's going to come this week. And it's for sure. And get yourself ready, whatever you need to do, whatever you need to pack. Mashiach's coming this week. And I said, oh my gosh, he's coming. And then he didn't come. So at a certain point, it feels like the boy who cried wolf. It's a very difficult thing to feel like he was supposed to come and he didn't come. And people keep on saying it. And people say now, oh, Iran is attacking. Oh, Mashiach has to come. So the Gemara says, Tipach rucham shel mechashvei kitzin. Those who do chishuvei kitzin, that work out when Mashiach's going to come, they should die. They should tipach rucham. It's just, it's wrong to work it out. And you mentioned Shabtai Tzvi, right? In 1666, Shabtai Tzvi convinced the Jewish world that he was Mashiach. The rabbis were also convinced. There was a lot of things that he knew. He was a god. He was huge in Torah. That Tisha B'Av, most of Am Yisrael ate. People sold their houses also, their houses overseas, because they thought they're gonna move over here. And then he goes to Turkey and he tells the Sultan, I'm gonna overthrow you. And the Sultan says, you have two options. Either I behead you now or you become Muslim. And he says, fine, I'll become Muslim. And then his followers also became Muslim. You would think not. That's how deep they were caught inside the cult of Shabtai Tzvi. And so it's a very difficult, when people tell you that Mashiach is coming, you need to be skeptical. You need to be very, very skeptical. Okay. You don't, unless you can just, it's not taxing on you. Maybe you can hear Mashiach's going to come tomorrow and he doesn't come. Mashiach's going to come tomorrow and maybe it's not difficult for you, but I think for almost every single person, it's difficult to keep on believing that.
Is it okay to feel scared?
No, yes. It's the most important thing is to notice what you're feeling. I think about Mashiach. Notice what you're feeling. Be aware of what you're feeling. If you're forcing yourself to be happy, to be excited, there's something wrong here. Rather, don't force yourself. Rather, just know that you have a difficulty. Know you're in a conflict about this. For me, it's very comfortable to think that what Reb Shimon Schwab says, that 169 years are lost. We didn't count properly. So the year now is not Tafshin Pei Vav, 5,786. It's actually 5,786 plus 169. Who can do maths over here? It is 5,955. That means we're 45 years away from the end. Year 6,000 is the end, the Gemara says.
45, not.
יש לך שם 200 שנה.
Do
40.
5,786 plus 169, and that's what you're going to get. 5,955. And you get another 45 years, Mashiach's going to come. That means if I'm 42 now, add 45, I'm going to be 87 years old when Mashiach comes. That's nice to know that at the end of my life. The Gemara says in the year 6,000 he's going to come.
Yeah,
There's-
sure, God for sure. That's the Beito.
There's two things. There's Be'ita and Achishena. Be'ita is when it's time, and Achishena is he's going to speed it up. If we do tshuva, it's going to be Achishena, it's going to happen quickly. If we wait, it's going to be...
זה יגיע.
או שזה,
לפי הגמרא היה הפוך בלשונותינו.
שמעתי, או שזה מגיע,
היה חשבנו מתי יגיע.
Yeah. Oh, we just did it.
No?
We just did. You're not supposed to do... Oh, we're not supposed to do the No, you're not supposed to do cheshbonot. We just did it.
לא עשינו חשבון שהוא בא מוקדם. שם זה גמרא בטוחה. 6,000 is for sure come.
Okay, let me tell you the story. The Malbim, right? The Malbim, it's a great rabbi in Romania. And he writes a beautiful Perush on the Torah. He lived about 100 years ago. He passed away about a little bit more than 100 years ago. And he wrote about when the time is going to come, when Mashiach is going to come. He wrote about it. All the times he's written about, he said it might be this year, might be this year, might be this year. All of them have passed a long time ago already. Okay, he was wrong. It's hard to say that he was wrong about a big rabbi.
תבינו, זה היה סגן מאוד מסוגל.
They asked the Malbim, Tipach ruchan shevachash ve'kitzin. Yeah? You're not supposed to make cheshbonot. So how are you doing it? So he said, let me tell you a story. Once there was a boy, and he asked his father, you're going to the fair, to the Arid. What happened? They didn't have shops in their town. Maybe they had something small. But when you wanted to buy a lot of things, you wanted to buy a ladder, you wanted to buy nails, screws, I don't know, a lot of things. You had to wait for the fair to come to town. And if you wanted to sell stuff, you'd have to go to the town where the fair was. And so his father was going to go to the fair to sell whatever he was selling, certain merchandise. And the boy said to the father, can I come with you? So he said, fine, you can come with me to the fair. So they get on the horse and buggy with the father's partner, and they start traveling. And the boy says to the father, when will we get there? Anybody hear that before? When will we get there? And the father says, don't ask me that question. You're not allowed to ask that question. You want to look out of the window, ask me what that hill is. You want to talk about what you're seeing over here. You want to talk about the merchandise. Don't ask when we're going to get there. He freaked out, and the boy got very overwhelmed by that. Then what happened was the boy waited and he waited and he waited,
Vaera.
and then what happened was the boy asked the partner, the father's partner, when will we get there? And the father's partner says, oh, well, I can see they're based by these hills. It's going to be basically just behind that hill. We maybe have like 25 minutes till we get there. We're pretty close. And so the boy said to the father, how come when I asked you, you got all angry? And when I asked him, he didn't get angry. And the father said, well, it's simple. When you asked me, we were at the beginning of the journey. If you ask at the beginning, when will we get there? That's upsetting. But when you're closer to the end, and it makes sense that we should already be there, and you're asking when will we get there, that's a question to ask at the right time. So that's what the Malbim says. The Malbim says, during the time of the Gemara, they were pretty far away from, it was towards the beginning of this journey.
ואתה אומר להם זאת 2,000 שנה.
But now that we're at the end, now you can ask. Now you can do cheshbonot. Now I'm working out when the 6,000 years is going to come. I don't think that's tipach ruchan shel Nachash v'Kitzin.
We hope not.
Now,
I think we all know that the end of the 6,000, he has to come. So that's
Yeah.
the Gemara. It's not like לא חשבנו פה שום דבר.
בקטרי it says שמשיח יבוא או כשכולם חוזרים לתשובה או שכולם יורדים מהדרך.
What?
yeah, fine. Right. Kula zakai kula chayav. That's part of Achishena. But there's also Be'ita.
אז למה שכולם לא ידעו מה דרך זה יגיע?
כולם כבר...
There were
Okay.
really
That's
times, there were
easier.
really times Mashiach almost came.
Okay, there were already times, but the Arizal one says to his Talmidim, okay, everybody come. We're going to bring Mashiach right now. Right now, right here, let's go. They said, Rabbi, for sure we'll come with you. Just we need to tell our wives. He said, you missed it. You missed it. If you would have come, if you would have said, I'm willing to come, then Mashiach would have come right away. But because you weren't 100% on board, then Mashiach didn't come. Now, this isn't for us. This isn't for us, the Ari story. For us, it's to notice there's a part of me that wants to come. There's a part of me that's scared for what's going to be. There's a part of me that's a little upset about the boy who cried wolf, like too many times. He's coming, he's coming. Iran is attacking. Hamas is attacking. Lebanon's attacking. All of those, right? It's all Gog and Magog. When Russia went into Ukraine, Mashiach is coming. Everything is a reason for Mashiach to come. And it's, there might be truth to some element of truth. But for me, it's the boy who cried wolf. And when I was 17, my rabbi told me, Mashiach's coming this week. And since then, he desensitized me. And for me, my work is to notice this, where I'm desensitized and where I can, and what emotional work I can do, because we want to look forward towards Mashiach. At the end of the day, the Gemara says, when's Mashiach going to come? But there's 3 things that come b'esech hadat, when you're not expecting them. A scorpion. Yeah, there was a scorpion out over here. I wasn't expecting him. I walked out, I saw a scorpion. You look for a scorpion, you're not going to find him. We went to the south. I went with the boys to the south.
Don't worry, you can see it all. Flashlights.
No, we went to the south.
Yeah,
And we were told you have special infrared, ultraviolet flashlights. Point them at the ground and you'll see scorpions. That's what we were told. You're for sure going to see scorpions. So me, Nelson, Shmuel, and Meir went out to look for scorpions. And we pointed it everywhere and we turned over rocks and we found 0 scorpions. When you look for them, you don't find them. You find them by mistake. I've seen many scorpions in my life, never when I expected them. Now, so that's one thing. Yeah, right. The Shabbos of my bar mitzvah, there was a big scorpion that came to the house. It's a huge scorpion.